Oh, I forgot my blanket. There it is. So if you haven't already, find your way into a comfortable seated position, or you can lie down. We're going to do some back care today. The requests were the back, but in particular, requests were for like the upper back, shoulder blade area, neck, that kind of sort of stuff. And then there was hips and core. And our energy level is somewhere between good and ready for bed. So, so we'll see what happens. So find a comfortable seat or a place to be. Maybe the eyes closed. We'll do our centering first. Because we're gonna move, you're gonna move your body. So you want your mind and your body to become a little bit more acquainted before we do that. So just start to invite yourself into the moment, into this present moment, whatever it's like. Whatever you hear inside your room, whatever you hear outside your room. Whatever you hear in your house or building or outside. And just notice how it feels to be here, how it feels to sit, breathe. And, before we get too deep into it, you're welcome to kind of shift around or move. I know I sit in a chair when I'm studying, so I have to like wiggle around. Beginning of my yoga class or my centering or meditation, just to kind of find out like what center. Am I holding myself kind of off balance? Am I tense some places that don't need to be tense? So one of my teachers used to call it like the sacred wiggle, right? Like you're gonna wiggle around until you find that place where you'd like to land. And then once you find it, just very gently check in with your posture. You're not here to fix or solve or, remedy anything. You're just here to find out. But if you can get yourself in a neutral position, right? You're not fixing or solving. You're just like, oh yeah, neutral. I'm just going to sit up neutrally. And then notice your breath. And as you start to kind of press your tailbone down towards the earth and the crown of the head up towards the sky, start to fill all that space you've just created with breath. So take your time. Deepening the breath, letting the mind just dive deeper and deeper into the sensations of your own body. I always start with the room because I think it's easier for our minds to be in the room than it is to be in our bodies. But this is just another container, right? The room is one container that you're in. This body of yours is another one. And there's a lot more to notice. I think that's why it's harder. So just fill it with breath. Let the breath be like your flashlight. You're illuminating your experience. If it's helpful, if your mind feels a little having a hard time, maybe just place your hands on your belly and heart or somewhere on your body where the breath moves. And see if you can just feel it. Feel the breath internally, externally. Feel how it moves everything moves outward and back in. And what if there was no need for a specific pattern? What if you just let each breath be exactly what it needed to be? You can add ujjayi if you'd like, or the ocean sounding breath. Inviting your breath, yourself, your mind to be here one breath at a time. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to solve. You're just breathing. with a gentle invitation to do it a little slower, a little deeper. Just breathe slowly, deeply, being gentle with yourself. Can you get your mind even deeper inside the sensations of breathing, the sensations of the body? Can you allow it to be the most important thing that your mind can fixate on? Let's keep that slow, deep breath going, but we'll add some movement with the arms. So when you inhale, the arms are going to float up, just simple seated sun breath. And as you exhale, the arms are going to float down. Tailbone still pointing downward, crown of the head still reaching up. And change the pattern eventually so that when you exhale, the hands just slide down the midline. So you inhale, the arms go out and up. You exhale, the hands float down the midline. And eventually let your hands rest at your heart center just for a moment, right in front of your heart. And breathe. Good. And we'll do that 3 more times. We'll add sound if you want to. You can also just listen. I'm going to do it. We'll chant the sound of Om as the hands float down the midline. So I just kind of paused us just to line us up. So when you're ready, the hands can go off to your sides again. And inhale, reach up. Exhale will be the Om. Second one, whenever you're ready. Good. And when you're ready, just pause. Take in the vibration of Om. Notice how you feel. Let the body just breathe itself. Just giving yourself permission to sit in this moment with nothing to do, nothing to accomplish, nothing to achieve or strive for. Just be here. Good. And you can, if you need to, you can blink your eyes open. We're going to just adjust the legs. And then we'll do some neck stuff. So if you need to stretch your legs out, my headset is a little tangled in the shirt I want to take off, so I have to address that for a moment. But you can stretch your legs out, and I'll get back to you in a second. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot how complicated my mic is with layers when it's pulled out. All right, so readjust your legs. Come back to seated. So in other words, if your legs are crossed, you can reverse across the legs. If you need an adjustment, just All right, and we'll move neck and shoulders. Well, we'll do them together. So if you clasp your hands and place them underneath your chin, and as you inhale, just let your elbows come out as you gently look up. Not doesn't have to be a lot. And then exhale. Bring your gaze and chin down, elbows towards each other. So it's not huge. We're kind of practicing subtle here. So inhale, elbows out, look up. Exhale, elbows down, look down. I like the hands here because it kind of limits the range. And then it kind of makes sure like, oh, hey, we don't have to do a ton. Just enough, just a little bit to start. Good. And then release your hands, bring your chin to your chest, and you can interlace your hands behind your head. No pushing or pulling. They're just going to kind of hang out there, elbows towards the floor. And as you inhale, open your elbows, look up, and rest your head in your hands. So you're going to open your heart and chest. Just kind of look up. So there's a little back bend here. And then exhale, go down, elbows towards the floor, chin towards the chest. Don't push on the back of your head. And then inhale, lift up. Rest your head in your hands. So you're just going to move with your breath. Inhale to come down. Oh, sorry, I said exhale to come down. Inhale to look up. Good. And the next time your elbows are towards the floor and your chin is tucked, let your hands start to move your head side to side. So you're just going to let the arms and hands do all the work, right? No pushing or pulling, just a gentle hand on the head. No, you don't even have to push your weight of your arms, just gently moving. Good. And then you can release your hands and roll your head up to one side and just pause there. But in that pause, we'll add a little movement. So pretend you have a little paintbrush at the end of your nose and you're going to paint circles out in front of you. Good. Relax your jaw, relax your face, go the other way. Same tip side, but just circle the other way. And maybe even slow it down. Good. And then bring your chin back down to your chest and make your way over to the other side eventually. And pause here. Take a few breaths. You can circle at the nose. It doesn't have to be big. I would, for me, it feels good to make it really small. Then go the other way. Good. And then bring your chin to your chest again. And let's do a couple more of those rolls without the Pinocchio nose in between. So inhale, roll your head to one side. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, roll your head to the other side. Exhale, chin to chest. So take your time. Moving and breathing. Good. And then bring your chin to center, chin to chest, kind of releasing. And move your shoulders around a little bit if they feel a little tight. Blink your eyes open and lift your gaze. And let's stretch the legs out. So remove your props. You can extend your legs. And move your feet around. Maybe they circle one way and then the other. Good. Maybe they are like windshield wipers. Good. And then bounce your knees up and down. Great. And when they settle, just notice how your legs feel. And find your way onto your back. I want to do a little bit of the movements of the spine from lying down, since we want to kind of take care of the back today. So let's do this. Let's see if I can language this because I don't usually teach it this way. So you're going to bring your arms to your sides, knees bent, feet on the floor. And as you inhale, let your arms come up overhead and the ever so slightly, this is how I feel it. I feel the belly kind of lift up a little bit so that the back gets a little bit more arched. And as you exhale, bring your arms down towards the floor as you kind of purposefully hug the belly into the spine. Right, so a little core work. So inhale, you're going to float your arms up overhead and just let your heart lift, your body go into a little bit of back bend. And then exhale, hug the belly into the spine and bring your arms back down. So just moving with your breath. Inhale, arms lift up. The low back or that space behind the belly button kind of lifts up a little higher towards the sky. And then exhale, everything comes down. So a little pelvic tilt or pelvic kind of rocking thing here as we move the arms. Good. And the next time that your arms come down towards the legs, just bring the knees into the chest and just take hold of your knees. And you don't have to engage your belly. You're just going to rock side to side. Good. And when you're ready, let your feet come down to the floor. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to just move the knees in and out. So nothing major. I'm not going to straighten the legs or anything. We're just going to move the knees in and out. So let's see. Let's start with the knees, the hands at the knees. And as you inhale, just drop your feet to the floor. Let your arms go overhead, just like you did before. So you kind of a little back bend. And as you exhale, hug the belly into the spine as you bring your knees to your hands. So a little different than we did before. And then inhale, feet to the floor. Extend the arms, a little stretch, open the heart. And then exhale, bring the knees in. If you want, you can bring your hands all the way to the floor. It's up to you. So really, you can make this whatever you need it to be, but just relax when you bring the feet and the hands down. So when you're kind of in that back bend, let the back be really relaxed. And you can play with the pace that you lift the feet off the ground. Because even with, with the heels kind of close to the rear end, it's not that hard, but when you go slow, it'll up the challenge a little bit. And you can always move your feet a little further away from you if you want. But make sure you're using the belly. You're kind of hugging the belly into the back, hugging the back into the ground. Good. And then let your feet find the floor. If the shoulder's okay with it, bring your arms overhead and extend your arms. We'll take a nice stretch. So as you inhale, just stretch through the feet, through the hands. Inhale. And as you exhale, soften and relax. So inhale, reach and stretch. Exhale, soften. Then we're going to do one side at a time. So inhale through your right leg and right foot. Or sorry, that's the same thing. Hand and foot. So the other side goes into slack and then switch. So it's kind of like this like slow motion kind of wiggle. You stretch one side, the other side goes into slack, and then you switch. And depending on how your back is feeling, sometimes I like to kind of play with that tilt we were doing before. So if you hug your belly into the spine, it's a little different than if you let the low back just relax into its kind of natural curve. So just see how that feels. Good. And you can come back. So you can bring the knees, bend the knees, feet to the floor. Let your feet be a little wider than your hips are wide. So about as wide as your mat is wide. Take hold of either elbow. So you're going to make a little square over your heart. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, the knees go one way and your elbows and head go the other way. And then inhale back through center. And exhale other side. So just kind of check in with how the back feels as it rolls from side to side. So you're twisting. The upper back is going one way, the lower back is going another way. It's subtle, but your knees and your elbows are really going to tell you which way they're going. But also notice how the arms and shoulders feel. Notice how the hips and legs feel. Sorry, Millie has taken up the limelight here. Just her ear. All right, so you can come back through center. Let your feet be about hip distance apart. And I'm going to move because the my couch is in my way. Hold on. All right. So with your arms on the sides of your body, this is another subtle one. I feel like this is one of those things that's like a small thing that is more like a big thing, right? So we just want to keep this simple. So with your knees bent, feet on the floor, arms on the sides of your body, just as easily as you can. You're going to take your right arm and float it up towards the sky. I like to inhale as I do that, and then bring it overhead. Good. And when you're ready, you can breathe it back up. Nice and slow, and exhale lower. So I like to do this super slow. I like to inhale the fingers towards the sky. Deep, right, belly breath, and then exhale, hands to the floor, but the hand overhead, right? So it goes all the way overhead. And then inhale, back up, fingers to the sky. And exhale, arm to the ground. So let's see, we'll stay with the right arm because I think, well, you can do it other way. I meant to switch, but I'm staying with the right arm. So we'll do like a few more. Or if you're switching, you're fine because you're going to keep switching. So go slow and just focus on how this feels, like the track. You know, that I like to think my fingers are kind of running in a track, or sliding rather in a track. Good. And the next time the arm is along the side of your body, just leave it there. Rest. Good. Notice how it feels, and then we'll switch to the other side. Unless you are alternating, I'm sorry, kind of just stick with us here. And then inhale, the left arm goes up. Exhale, it goes overhead. So move slowly and be cautious, right? Our shoulders are very movable, which means they're not that stable, which means they're easy to injure. And once they've been injured, they're easier to injure, right? So it's just the truth of it. So, you know, sometimes that means we have range of motion is more limited after we've injured, or we just have to be careful. So, you know, be careful. And I think I did like 4 or 5 on the first side. So that's what I'm trying to get at, like 4 or 5 on the second side. Good. And then eventually let both arms be just resting on the ground. And just notice how the shoulders feel, how the arms feel. Good. We'll do one more thing for that space, like right between the shoulder blades. So kind of like bridge, but not a total back bend. We don't want to get into that yet. But so ankles under knees. As you inhale, you're just going to lift your hips. The arms go overhead. And then exhale, slowly lower. So basically it's like you're just coming in and out of bridge, but instead of keeping the arms at your sides, they're going to go up and down like they did before, but this time together. So you inhale, everything lifts, exhale, everything lowers. I like to go nice and slow to really feel that little massage. I feel like it's like a massage in the shoulder, between the shoulder blades and in the upper back. Good. And then you can land with your back on the ground, arms at your sides. And we'll do a little bit more of that pelvic tilt. So as you inhale, the kind of waistline goes up as your tailbone kind of sticks into the ground, so that space in your low back gets wider from the ground. And then inhale, use your belly muscles and press your whole low back into the yoga mat. So inhale, everything lifts, should be pretty relaxed and easy. And exhale, hug the belly. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hug. This time, just pause, gently hugging the belly into the ground and breathe. Just keep breathing. Good. You can relax and bring the knees in. Right? You can hold the legs or wrap your arms around and rock side to side. Good. And then you can pause here. You can bring your limbs up towards the sky and hug the belly down into the floor. So just like before, the belly pushes into the low back pushes into the yoga mat. And you can do this with the arms or without. I'm not using my arms because my microphone keeps going right into my mouth. My glasses aren't keeping it still. There we go. So hug the belly into the spine, keep breathing. So see if your legs and arms can be a little more relaxed, but your belly is going to do some work here. Right? So breathe and relax. I mean, not everything, right? The belly needs to stay strong. Just keep breathing. Good. And then relax. I know usually we do movement. We'll get there. You can hug the knees into the chest. You can hold the knees or wrap your arms around and just rock side to side. Good. And from here, you can bring your feet to the floor, bring at least one arm overhead and roll over to your side, whichever side you'd like, into a fetal position. And just rest for a moment. Using your arms, you could start to press yourself up to seated. Good. Get there. Around. Did I turn my mic off? No. All right. And from here, with the hands behind you, knees bent, feet wide apart, let your knees go side to side. We'll just do that a few times and let your knees go all the way to the right. You can rearrange. Good. And let your, let's see, let's maybe bring the right forearm to the ground. You can be higher or lower. I like to be lower. And you can take your left arm and you're going to inhale and just let it come up towards the ear. So there's a little bit of back bend here, a little bit of like cat and cow. And then exhale, bring the arm straight towards the knee and look towards your left knee. So inhale, the arm goes right up towards the ear and you arch the back a little. And exhale round. So I'm trying to find like creative ways to do cat and cow. So inhale, lift up. I can like finally be on my wrists again. I don't know, some of you remember my wrists were hurting, but I just don't want to push it. But I think I like this one. So anyway, so next time you're in the stretch with the arm over the ear, just pause here and see what would feel good. Like I like to look down. I like to play with the position of the hips. So if you want to shift around, you can. Sometimes I like to bend the arm and move it around. So explore, right? Like let this be your stretch here. Good. And when you're ready, you can bring your forearm or your hands behind you, either way, knees up and let them go side to side. And then go the other way. Let the knees go to the left. And you can keep the forearm here or rearrange so you're comfortable. And then the right arm is going to be straight right by the right leg. And as you inhale, sweep it up towards your ear, open the heart, little back bend. And then exhale, you can kind of decidedly or purposely round, bring your hand towards the leg, look down towards the knee, and then inhale, open up. So a little bit of cat and cow as you round and then arch. Move with your breath. And the next time your arm is along the ear, just pause there and kind of play with it. See what it, you can stay in stillness, but maybe there's movement that would feel good. Your body will tell you, right? You know where your muscles kind of need an extra stretch or to just pause and rest in, the stretch. Good. And when you're ready, bring your arms behind you, forearms or hands, knees come up and let the knees go side to side. And you can have arms or hands behind you. It doesn't, this, if this is hard on your shoulders, you can be on your wrists or hands, whatever works. All right. So we did cat and cow a few different odd ways. So let's come up to seated and we'll do it the way I usually do it. So seated, legs however you want. So hands somewhere on the shins, take a breath in. And as you exhale, just start to round your back, tuck your chin, empty the lungs, and then inhale, roll forward. The belly goes forward anyway. The heart, the shoulders go back. You can look up. And then exhale, round. So taking your time, just seeing how the back feels, right? So we did a little bit of this before, but we're also in that lateral angle stretch a little bit. Good. And you can come back to neutral and let your legs extend. They don't have to be perfectly straight, but they're just extended only to as far as it would feel comfortable to then straighten your spine. So I like to bend the knees. You could also sit on the edge of a blanket if you want. Whatever it takes to kind of sit straight. So you can get the hamstrings out of the way. So I think I've been doing this the last few weeks. My yoga mat's kind of sticky, so this works for me. So if you're on like a slippery surface, if you can get like your heels on your sticky mat, I think it'd be better. And you're just gonna kind of dig your heels in and then pull them towards the sitting bones. And for me, that engages the legs. And then it's a little easier for me to sit up tall. It's almost like if my hands had a handle or something to grab or like something to pull on, it's easier to sit up straight. So you're just kind of doing that with your legs. So you're kind of pulling the heels towards your sitting bones, hug the belly into the spine, sit up nice and tall. Staff pose. So inhale, bring the arms up overhead. And breathe. So what happens, remember when we were on the ground, we had the arms overhead and then it makes the upper back go into a little bit of back bend. But see if you can keep the belly really firm against your spine or against your back body so that you can you don't arch the whole back or back bend the whole back. So keep breathing. Relax your shoulders if you can. Relax your face and jaw. Good. And then bend your elbows like the top of a cactus. You can relax your legs a little, maybe bend them a little more. And then you're going to twist to your right and bring a hand behind you and a hand to the legs. So wherever you want to go, right? So maybe you hook the the left arm on the outer knee, or you just kind of hold somewhere. Good. And this is a movement, a little bit of a stretch, but see if you can engage your belly so that when you come back through center, you're kind of lifting up again. You don't have to do that leg part we did before, but you're just going to lengthen and then twist the other way and breathe. Good. Use your belly strength. Come right back through center. Good. And then from here, just fold your body over the legs. And take a few slow, deep breaths just as a way to kind of stretch the really the whole back. You'll feel it wherever you're more tight. Good, and you can roll your way back. And let's come up to standing from here. I want to do kind of half moon and chair series. So if you want a block, I like to do this with a block. But it's up to you. If you don't have one, it's no big deal. You don't need it. But you can put the block between your legs, or your thighs rather, femur bones if we're being particular, right above the medial and lateral condyles. Sorry, I'll try to stop. I've been studying hard for A&P, anatomy and physiology. If you're somebody who really wants to kind of a little arm workout, if you have a second block, you can use it. I'm not feeling it right now, but sometimes my morning practice, that's what I do. I kind of have a one to hold, and then I like to press against it, but I'm just putting it out there. So you're going to hug the block with the legs and get your nice steady standing mountain, right? So palms face forward, belly hugs into the spine, and you lift your heart. Relax your shoulders. Press the heels down and the crown of the head up. Good. And then inhale, reach your arms up and find mountain. We'll just stand in mountain for a moment and breathe. So relax your shoulders. And those of you, if you are using a block, right, if the shoulders are okay with it, you can just hold it. My block is too heavy. Maybe I'll switch. There we go. That's better. The heavy one's kind of hard. So you're going to kind of just gently press your hands into the block. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. I wasn't going to do it this way anyway. So hug the belly into the spine, inhale, and then exhale, slowly lower your arms. Let's just do the arms for now. So even if you don't have a block, you're just kind of slowly lowering the arms. That's it. Good. And then inhale, bring the arms up. And this time we're going to add the knees. So bend your knees, slowly bring the arms down. So you can keep the shoulders pretty settled and relaxed. And then inhale, slowly come back up. Yeah, and then we'll do it again. Slowly, slowly. So if you are using the block, I don't know if anybody else feels it, but I like to press the hands, and then I really feel like I'm strengthening the muscles that kind of adduct the arms or bring the arms towards each other. You're also strengthening the muscles that adduct the legs, that bring the legs towards each other. And when we go slow, there's other things strengthening too, right? We're putting the body into some flexion. We're bending the knees, we're bending at the hips, bring the arms down, and then we're extending at the legs at least. Good. And the next time you are bent, if it feels good, or in your chair, you can hang out here. And my arms need a little break. So if you want to take a break with the arms, you can bring the arms out. And then whenever you feel ready, I like to start slow. Like I like to have the hands at my sides, and then I slowly bring the arms up. And then that way I can kind of find out what happens to the back, and then I can come back down. So, a lot of yoga classes, they have you just hold the arms in one position. I like doing this because it lets me feel like, oh, that's where the muscles really engage. All right, I can hang out there, or I can just be like, all right, I understand that. And then I can go a little lower. So you just have to find out what works for you. Relax your shoulders and breathe. And on an inhale, you can lift up. And then we're just going to fold. If you've got a block, you can remove it and fold forward. Bend your knees as deeply as you'd like. Let your head hang heavy. Let your shoulders relax. Maybe even like shaking the shoulders and then nodding your head. Yes. And then no. Sorry, I think my necklace was hitting the microphone. I hope that wasn't too noisy. Good. And then bend your knees and just start to roll your way up, stacking bone on bone, one bone at a time. When you come up to standing, just notice how you feel. You know what? Let's do half moon. We're going to turn it into something else. So we'll do it without a block. So if you have a block, you can get rid of it. we're gonna play with a little balance. I haven't taught this one in a bit, but I do like this one. So First, we're not going to worry about it. We're not going to think ahead. We're just going to think about what we're doing now. We're going to do half moon, just a crescent moon shape, right? So bring your hands into prayer, find your mountain. You can interlace your fingers if you want, and then bring your arms up overhead. Hug the belly into the spine, lift your heart, and then start to find out what you can soften. Shoulders, face, whatever you can soften. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, very slowly start to arc over to your right, just very slowly. And find out which muscles start to engage, right? Your hips are going to go a little bit left, but see if you can stay balanced for now on both feet. Good. And then shift your weight a little more decidedly into the right foot and let your left foot, your left heel lift. So just the ball of the foot's on the ground, but it's not that visible, I know, for you if you're looking at my feet, but for me, I could feel it. And then you can take your foot and send it out. Maybe you just have a big toe, left big toe on the ground. Keep breathing. Maybe you lift it up a little higher. And whenever you're ready, that's a lot, you can release and let's fold forward. Good. You can roll your way up. And let's do the other side. I'm trying to remember the name for that. Oh, I think my teacher called it flying eagle. It's kind of a nice name. So let's start with hands. And you can do it with hands together, or you can part them and have everything kind of independent. So, but I like to start half moon. I like to have the hands interlaced to start. So inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, just soften shoulders, face, jaw. So inhale, strong where you need to be strong. Exhale, relaxed where you can relax. And then start to arc over to your left. Just a little bit, go slow. Find the placement that feels good to you, using your belly, lifting your heart, softening your shoulders. And then when you're ready, start to shift your weight into your left foot. Sorry, can't think. Your heel lifts, and then maybe you bring your foot out a little higher. Maybe the ball of the foot stays on the ground, maybe just a big toe. So keep using your belly more than your back. And if you'd like, the leg can float, or you can keep a toe or the foot on the ground. It's up to you. Good. So I feel like I kind of tricked you into a balancing pose on one foot. Keep breathing. And when you're ready, you can bring everything back down. Instead of folding, let's just pause here and let it settle. All right. So let your feet go wide and let your toes turn out at angles. So they're kind of facing the corners of your yoga mat. So if you're sideways on your yoga mat. And this will definitely have stretch to it, but let's see if we can work on the strength of it. So goddess, right? So let's bring the arms up straightish. And then as you exhale, bend your knees, bend your elbows, and slowly sink down. I like to imagine that my back is just resting against a wall. Good, but things do start to shift, right? Your back is gonna change shape, and that's okay. So slowly lift up. And exhale, slowly slide right back into goddess. Right? So let there be ease here. Like, yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge, but can it feel good too? Good. And the next time you're in goddess, whoa, I almost fell over. You can stay there. Keep your eyes open. It's a PSA, right? Don't close your eyes in goddess. Keep pressing the elbows back. Keep opening the heart. Breathe. Can the back of the neck be neutral, right? Can you feel like you're pretty relaxed through the neck and shoulders? And then take your palms and turn them up as you look up. And you can look forward, but bring your hands into prayer position. Keep breathing. You got this. And then bring your arms back into goddess, right? Like the top part of a cactus. And very slowly, if you have it in you, lift back up. Woo. Turn your toes, and then we can fold. I like yoga mudra arms. So if you want to do yoga mudra arms, you can. If you want to just have your arms towards the floor, that's fine too. Breathe, relax. Just watch what's going on. Okay, notice what it feels in your practice, in your body. And allow there to be space for acceptance. Good. You can release your arms. You can turn your heels in and your toes out. We'll come up halfway, hands to thighs. We'll do that little standing twist thing. So dipping your shoulder towards the opposite foot. Come back through center and switch. And just go, back and forth, side to side. Good. When you're ready, you can come back up. You can bring your feet towards each other. There's a reason I don't wear a necklace when I'm teaching. There we go. Sorry. My necklace keeps getting tangled on the microphone. All right. So here's the invitation. Let's come down to the ground. But if you need something on the way, if you need down dog, another forward fold, child's pose, take your time. Let's take maybe 5 or 6 breaths to get all the way down to the ground. So eventually find your way onto your belly. But for now, do what you need to do. It might be one of the things I suggested. It might be something totally different. And when you do get there, just turn your head to one side, rest on the ground. You can bend your legs and let your feet go side to side. And then turn your head the other way. And then release your legs. Bring your chin or your forehead to the ground. And bring your arms along the sides of your body. Maybe just an inch or 2 or 3 away from your the seams, so to speak, the sides of your body. And let's stabilize the legs and pelvis first. So if you curl your toes under, press your pelvis down, imagine you were standing. Engage the belly a little bit, let your shoulders just really lightly lift up towards the sky. Because right now, the shoulders, for me, if I was just to relax, they would kind of roll forward down into the ground. But if I kind of imagine I'm standing, I want that like proud superhero stance, right? So the shoulders kind of lift up a little. Press the crown of the head towards the front of the room. You can uncurl your toes. Keep pressing your pelvis down and then lengthen back through your right leg and then lift it up. Good. Lower it down. Keep your pelvis pretty steady if you can. And then lengthen back through the left leg. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower. Good. And then from here, we're going to do everything. So lengthen out through the limbs, press your pelvis down, and on an inhale, let everything lift. Doesn't have to go a lot. Use your belly strength. Your back strength is definitely engaged, but keep lengthening. Through fingers, through toes, through the top of your head. And when you're ready, you can release. My back isn't loving being in that for too long, but you can stay in it longer if you want. When you're done, bend your knees, let your feet go side to side. Good. And then extend your legs. We'll come into Sphinx, or we'll do forearm plank in a moment, but we'll start in Sphinx. So elbows under shoulders, fingers spread wide. Sorry, one of my yoga mats is like really skinny, really thin rather, and it's not super comfortable. So I have to rearrange. So make sure you're comfortable. So hug the belly into the spine. Imagine you're going to do a forearm plank. Don't do it yet, but just imagine. But can you do it with the shoulders relaxed? Can you kind of look out beyond your hands a little bit so the back of the neck is in that natural curve? I like to keep the knees down. So if you need to cushion them, you can. You can also curl your toes under. And then when you're ready, you can lift up. I like to lift and lower, but it's up to you. And there's another way I like to do it that I've been teaching the last few weeks. So you can do it, this way, the sort of regular plank. I like to bend my knees, and then I kind of hug the knees and elbows towards each other, and then I lift and lower. So then it kind of engages a little bit more things. So keep breathing, and we don't have to do this forever. And I'm kind of talking and getting in and out of it. So you can come out of this whenever you're ready. And when you're done, just rest wherever you want to rest. Bend the knees, maybe let the feet go side to side. Good. And you can release your legs and roll over onto your right side. So into a fetal position. We'll do a few things. So I like teaching these things, but I also sometimes feel like, they're a little bit PT-esque. But what PT lacks, in my opinion, physical therapy, is the breath and the yoga part. So we're just going to take this and we're going to turn it into yoga. So when you're on your side, I like to keep my right hand on the floor for just stabilization. I like to keep my left arm up so I can rest my head, but you do what you need to do. And for this one, it's called clamshell. So you keep your feet together, and you're just going to slowly lift your right knee. Inhale, and then exhale, lower. So just move slowly. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. So it might not feel like a lot, but see if you can slow it down. And that repetition, right? So we're basically we're strengthening some of the muscles that externally rotate and internally rotate the hip, because we're going both ways. But when we're going against gravity, right, we're doing it on our side. When we stand in tree, it doesn't feel like we're strengthening, right? When we turn the leg out, when we do it like this, we're going against gravity. So when you're ready, I wasn't counting. You should have been. You can relax. And then there's another one I like to do. I like to just bring the whole foot and leg up. So I imagine that they're going to kind of stay on the same plane. And then I keep the knee bent, but I lift and lower. So this time the feet don't have to stay together. The foot goes right along with the knee. And you can move and breathe. I find too much stretching doesn't feel super great in the long term. I've been a yoga teacher for a long time. So for me, strengthening in my practice has really become really important. So when you're ready, you can release and rest. Good. We switch sides because we have to get there anyway. Come onto your back or roll over onto your back. You can bring your knees into the chest. Hold the knees or wrap your arms around and just start to rock side to side. Good. And then we'll do the other side. Wait, what side were we on before? I have no idea. Okay. Whichever side you didn't do, I'm really sorry if I mixed all the words up. I might have. When we're not live or not in person, no one's there to go, hey, Carrie, you already did that. Or you're saying all the rights and lefts wrong. Okay, I'm having a moment. I'm going to love myself anyway. Okay, so let's, whatever side you didn't do do that side. I think I was laying on my left side. So I'm gonna lay on my right side. So maybe I didn't specify. I don't know. I'm gonna stop this little meltdown I'm having. All right. So support yourself, hand in front of you, feet together, whichever side you didn't do. And you're gonna slowly lift the knee, feet stay kind of stuck together, and then lower. So use your breath. Well, we're gonna turn this little PT move into yoga. So inhale. They certainly borrow stuff from us. So slow, deep breath, slow movement, making sure this doesn't hurt. I think when I first started doing these, I was like, "Ooh, this hurts. No, thank you." But it's because this wasn't very strong, right? So often the things that we're like, yeah, no thanks, are the things that we need. Good. And I think I did about 5 of each one. I think I'm about there. So whenever you feel ready, you can release. Just give yourself a rest for a moment. And then we'll do the one where the foot comes up too. So whenever you feel ready, you can slowly lift and slowly lower. So the heel moves as if it has no other choice. Like it just goes with, the foot goes with the knee, right? Everything stays in formation, right? In this kind of 90-90. And this one's a little more challenging, well, for me at least. So sometimes I don't do as many. I'm usually happy with 3 to 5, but that's because, I like stretching. Strengthening is not the top of my list, even though it could be. All right. So whenever you're ready, you can release. And I know their request was core, and then I'm adding all these other things, but I think they're all important. So when you're ready, you can find your way onto your back again. You can bring your knees into your chest. You can hold the knees and just rock side to side. All right, so I did shoulders in a way different way than I usually do, neck and shoulders. But I'm going to do bridge because I was doing these like heart openers rather than the sort of typical ones they do. But let's bring the arms. You can bring your arms along the side of your body. We'll kind of prep for bridge. So I like to tuck the shoulder blades under, the arms under, the heels kind of right under the knees. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, just lift your hips. You're going to peel your back off the ground. And then lift up. If you want, you can interlace your fingers. You can even kind of further tuck the shoulders underneath and lift your heart up towards your chin. Lift your hips up towards the sky. Keep breathing. So there's strength involved here, right? You want your glutes to work. You want your legs to work. You want to make sure you're just not just like hanging it out in the joints. You want to make sure that the muscles are engaged. And breathe. Right, make sure the back of the neck is happy. I always make sure there's a little lift in my chin so that I have that kind of natural curve of the neck. I'm not like overly lengthening the back of the neck. Good. And when you're ready, you can release your hands and then undo one shoulder and then the other and slowly lower your back onto the ground again and just rest. Back flat on the yoga mat, just rest. All right, I'm sort of running out of time, but I always like to end with our twist. So we'll do that. So you can bring your arms out wide, knees bent, feet on the floor. Scoot your hips a little bit to the right. The knees can come in a little and then over to the left. Depends on how deep you want your twist. And then look over your right shoulder. So knees go left first, head goes right, and breathe. And if you still need more shoulder stuff, right? Like the way I usually do it at the beginning of our practice is we do that little roll over. So you take your right arm and trace an arc over your head or into the air and you roll over and then you go right back into your twist. So, if your shoulders still feel like they need a little something, this might be a nice something. Sorry, my mic fell off for a second. I'm having mic trouble today. I have a core human need to be heard. And sometimes that's hard. All right, so when you're ready, just settle into your twist if you're moving around or whenever you want, and breathe. Right, so we did a lot of stuff where we hold on and strengthen. Let this be all about letting go. Right, you kind of have to ask yourself, is it safe to let go? Is my body in a shape that doesn't hurt? Does it feel good? And if you establish the answer is yes, then let go. Relax. Take a few deep breaths here, maybe 2 or 3 more. And eventually you can unwind. Let your back settle a moment, square your hips, and then you can go the other way. Hips to the left, knees in and over to the right. To any degree that it feels good, and then you twist. If you want to kind of roll in and out of it a couple times, if you did it on the other side, you can do that. Eventually, you can settle in your twist. And take a few slow, deep breaths and just, get your mind aligned with the fact that you want to be able to rest and soften, and then hopefully the body will follow suit. That mind body connection is way stronger than we give it credit for. When you feel complete, when you feel even, you can unwind from your twist. It might feel good to bring your knees in once again and rock side to side. But from here, I hand the moving practice, that is, over to you for the next, 1 to 3 minutes. Just move how the body wants you to move. Right? That might be movement. That might be stillness. It might be something that looks like yoga. It might be another, maybe something your PT taught you. There's no order to this. There's no right or wrong. Good. And when you start to feel ready for relaxation, you can get yourself set up. Maybe some of you are already there. But take your time. Make sure you're warm enough. I know it's chilly. It feels chilly in my house. Let's see, 66. Yeah, it's chilly. So, you might want a blanket or to add a layer. And once you're settled, practice some deep breathing and especially let your mind focus on the exhale. See if you can really elongate the exhalation. And let your awareness move through your body, taking a body scan, maybe starting at the feet. And letting your awareness just move through your own body at your own time and your own pace. I'll let you have your own body scan. It can be in a systematic order. It can be in whatever order you want it to be. And once your mind has made its way all the way through, just invite yourself to relax, to be still, to soften, to practice the art of letting go. So if you feel ready to come back, you can start to deepen your breath. You can move fingers and toes, rock your head side to side. Might feel good into the chest. And you're in your own space, so you can take your own time. You don't have to come back up seated. For the sake of the video, I usually just lead it. But if you're there, you're there. If you're not, that's okay. But if you are ready, you can come back up to seated and just take a moment to notice how you feel. Right? To just pause, to breathe, to notice. And we began our practice with a centering and noticing, but also 3 ohms. So let's complete our practice with 1. So you can bring your hands into prayer position in front of the heart. You're welcome to have to join me or just listen. It's up to you. Oh, Millie. Jeez. All right, so take a deep breath in. We'll inhale all together. Millie, wait. Om Shanti Shanti, peace. May you know peace in your heart, peace in your body, and peace in your mind. And may you share it with everyone you meet. You can bow your head to your heart, honoring your true self, your true light. Jai Bhagwan, victory to the divine light within. Namaste. And when you feel adequately honored, you can lift your gaze and send a little thank you to the animals that are in your space, to the people in the rectangles. All right, let me stop the recording.